Once upon a time, in a town full of grey walls and greyer buildings, there lived a young painter named Arno. Arno wasn't a happy painter. He painted sad walls and dull buildings, just like all the other painters did. They all thought that colours were just for kids, and that once you grow up, you only have eyes for grey. But Arno wasn't just any painter. He was a very sensitive painter. And so while everyone else saw only grey, Arno saw all the colours of the sadness in the world around him. One day, while painting a particularly sad wall, Arno looked up at the sky and saw a beautiful rainbow. The sight of the rainbow made him feel a little less sad, and he dipped his brush into a puddle, splattering the wall with a bit of rainbow colour. That splash of colour didn't make the wall any less sad, but it did make Arno feel a little bit better. He continued splattering the wall with more rainbow paint until it looked like this. At first, people passing by thought the splashes of colour were ugly, but then they started to feel a little less sad too. A girl walking her dog stopped to ask Arno if she could have a go at painting the wall, and soon she was laughing out loud as she splashed away the grey. Other people stopped by to see what was going on, and before long, the whole town was painting the wall with rainbows. That day, Arno discovered something very important. Not only did he have eyes for colour, but those colours could also be his feelings. The next day, Arno went back to the wall with a big smile on his face and finished the painting. Then he walked through the town, finding all the greyest buildings he could find and splashing them with colour. As he painted, he felt happier and happier with every splash of colour, because each splash was a feeling, and each feeling needed a home. He splashed yellow on a grumpy man's door, who then smiled for the first time in years. He splashed pink on the bakery, making the bread inside rise a little higher. He splashed green on the river, and the fish inside it started leaping and playing. He even splashed blue on the mayor's office, and the mayor, who had never believed in anything in his life, started believing in rainbows. But not everyone liked Arno's colourful ways. An old woman who lived on the edge of town hated colour. She pulled down her blinds to keep the rainbow colours from her eyes, but it didn't work. Arno had splashed so much colour on the buildings around her house that the colours just seeped through the cracks in the blinds. Then he splashed some colour right on the blinds. The old woman peeked through one of the slats and saw the colours inside her house for the first time in her life. The colours tickled her nose and she sneezed, which tickled her brain, and she laughed for the first time in her life. Arno's art brought so much joy to the town that everyone wanted him to paint everything in sight. But Arno was sad because he had no more feelings to splash. You see, when he had started painting, his feelings had been grey and sad, like the world around him. But now that the world was full of colour, his feelings had become grey and dull, like an unused paintbrush. So Arno went back to the rainbow wall to find the splashes of colour he'd made so long ago, and there he found something even better. There was a new splash of colour on the wall, a colour he'd never seen before. It was the colour of a feeling he'd never known he had. And when he painted that feeling onto the world became a little more beautiful, and he became a little more free. From then on, Arno knew he would never run out of feelings to paint, because every time he found a new feeling, he could splash it onto the world and share it with everyone around him. And isn't that what art is for? To find the feelings inside us and splash them onto the world so everyone can see them, feel them, and be a little happier because of them.